What this video is aiming to do is to give you a bit more of an understanding of the stats that are related to your coaster, how you can adjust track, add banking, smooth out your track, get a better understanding of the most exciting, the most sickening, and the scariest parts of your ride, as well as a few ways that you can adjust your ride to help improve these. Before jumping straight into sandbox mode or maybe further into the career, I'd fully suggest completing this campaign tutorial. This is the coaster testing facility, and this will, aside from the tips given in this video, give you a great understanding of how to create roller coasters within this game. And it is definitely worth trying to jump in this one, get the 3 stars. It will definitely help you out. So the first thing that I think is important to say is you don't have to build your own coasters. If you go into the coasters menu, there are a bunch of pre-made coasters, and these you can just place into your park, open, test, whatever you want to do, and not have to worry about. If, however, you do want to create your own coaster, if you come into the coasters menu, you press your right stick in, this will allow you to select your roller coaster. You can go through different sections. Let's go standard and let's look at this one. So, first of all, you get greeted with the station. You can place the station, quick snap it, move, and all the tools you expect from placing within the game. Once your base station is down, you can come across the station menu, and here you can adjust the style of station, whether you want to switch it to the side. You can also extend the station and change the speed that the roller coaster will go in and out of the station. The utilities menu. This is all the different types of track that your roller coaster can currently handle. It also shows how you can adjust the speed and different elements of each track piece. Now, to place a track piece, we're going to place a chain lift. So using the left stick, you can push it up, and this will change the height of it. And you can continue to press this. Once one places, the next one will place. If you press and hold in on the X button, this will allow you to extend and also contract the length of the piece. And this just allows you to give you a bit more of a tailored experience and extend the pieces as long as you wish. Now, if you wanted to create banking or turn your roller coaster, the first thing, let's just create a bit of space. So if you press left on your analog stick or right on your analog stick, it is going to move the coaster. As is before, if you go up and down, it will sort of do that as well. Now, if you want to actually bank, if you hold X and then press RT, you can then set the angle at which you wish to bank. You can go for flatten it out here, something a little more casual, or drop it straight into something extreme. So let's just put a bit of a bank in here. And then once you're happy with the bank is however you wish, you can then hold X again and uncurl it. I tend to make the piece where I uncurl it a lot longer. Just try and smooth it out a little bit. So there's some different bits that you can do in terms of banking and track lengths. And then of course you've got different types of track. So you've got the chain lift, which we've already looked at. You've got drive tires. So these will just propel your car a bit more. Friction brakes, try and slow your roller coaster down. And I tend to do these if my roller coaster is going to come into the station a bit too fast to slow it down or into maybe a tight curve. You've also got block sections and trim brakes as well. So let's just create a bit of a finished track here. We're just going to join this up. And then what you'll notice is when you're getting closer to the station again, this symbol will appear. And this basically means it'll join the track for you automatically. So if you press and hold A, that'll then join up there. And we've got a loop. Now there's a couple other things within this menu. There's more settings. So in here, this is how you can look at the height of your coaster. You don't have to have it on, but I tend to put it on terrain relative so I can see how high my roller coaster actually is. You can do auto tunneling. I prefer to dig out the tunnel I want to put my roller coaster in and then sort of refill it, or I'll build the land around it rather than tunneling. But that's completely up to you how you want to do that. We've covered the station section. What we have in loops, we'll go into these in just a sec, but we've got loops, rolls, and non-inverted. And these are pieces where these are pre-builds, and we can put them straight into a coaster design rather than having to try and recreate a perfect loop. So now that we've got our base track, what we're going to do is we're going to press in the right stick and we're going to go and start test. I'm just going to speed it up. And what will happen is our coaster will run the track and it will come home. So if, for instance, you're trying to turn all these stats green, what's really handy is you can come down here to Heatmap and you can enable Heatmap based on a certain attribute. So if we look at excitement, I'm just going to swap this. You can change this to be previous run data, and this will give you the total area. So as you can see, the most exciting bit is that first drop. Aside from that, it's a very boring coaster. We expected that. We're just demonstrating sort of how you create track. You can also look at the fear rating, so where it's most scary. This you're trying to get as close to 5 as possible. The excitement one you're trying to get as close to 10 as possible. And the nausea you're trying to get below 5. So they're the 3 main stats, and they're the stats that you'll see in the colored boxes at the top. Some of the other things you can check is speed. So for instance, if your roller coaster is coming really fast into the station, you probably want to slow that down a bit more to sort of stop the fear factor and the nausea on the sudden stop of the station. And then you can also look at lateral G-forces, vertical and forward, because you want to make sure your roller coaster is not exceeding, I think it's 3G, because your guests can't handle that. In the results tab, this is where you'll find how long it takes for your roller coaster to run, how long the track is, what the maximum speed and the average speed it gets to, and what your biggest drop is. These tend to come up in challenges, so you'll get asked to make a roller coaster a certain length, or maybe it's going to be a certain speed, or the biggest drop is going to be, I don't know, 75 meters. This is also where you'll see where all your highest G-force ratings are, and towards the bottom of here, you'll see how many inversions and how many airtime counts your roller coaster has. Track scenery rating. Most tracks you want to try and dress up. This will improve the prestige of your ride, and you can see how it's getting on here within the test area. But you can also see that within the main roller coaster menu as well. And then if you wish, you can also see the live data. So as your roller coaster is going around the track, you can see all of the main attributes calling out there. Now, a couple of things you can do once your track has been placed is editing it. So as you can see, we've got this quite sharp corner here. And if I actually press and hold A, I will be able to select around the corner here. And then if I keep pressing A, this will then apply smoothing. And I can keep pressing it and keep pressing it. And it'll try and get that piece and that area that I selected as smooth as possible. So as you can see now, it's a very clean curve. And this works throughout straights as well. So you can select any part of your track and you can keep doing it and it'll get it much smoother. Gives it a much cleaner ride. And you can do this throughout your park, throughout your rides. So if you're trying to smooth them around, say, a large tree, and you've sort of just managed to get the track to go around it, you can use a smoothing tool to tidy it up a little bit. So that's how the smoothing tool works, and it's super handy to use if you did want to adjust your track. So if we wanted to come in here and potentially, let me just get out of the menu, potentially wanted to get rid of this piece of track here, if I select it and press Y, that will actually break that piece. And I can keep pressing Y and it'll undo. So I can take out that whole section there. And then what I can do then is I can click back on this piece of track or on this piece of track and continue. So if I click there, and in fact, we could even bring that back a little bit more to here. And then if you wanted to, you could use some pre-selected parts. You've got loops, all sorts of different loops. As you can see, some are lower loops, some are higher loops. So you could easily add a loop into your course using this menu. You can also do this with rolls. You want to make sure that if you're putting any of these kind of things in, that you've got enough speed and enough momentum for your roller coaster to make it. We might be able to get away with this one, so let's leave that roll in. And then you can also come out of the roll as well by placing another one. And then you've also got non-inverted ones as well, so you can add a whole bunch of pre-selected ones in here as well. So what we're going to do, we're just going to reconnect this track and we'll just do it nice and basic. And we'll place that there. So I'm fully expecting this to come into the track way too fast. But let's try it out. What I'll do is just set the heat back to the speed. Oh, to nausea? Oh, okay, we got away with it. Very nice indeed. What speed did it get to? 38. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth this a little bit here because it just looks a little sharp. And as you can see, it does the live testing whilst we're doing it. So once your track's placed, there's you can come into your roller coaster at any point, and you want to obviously place your entrance and exits. If you wish to adjust these, if you re-click it, it'll then let you come in and replace them. A tip about the exit: make sure your exit is not all the way down here, because the gates that allow the guests to go onto the ride will not open until all the previous ride guests have left. So you want to make sure your exit and entrance are as close to the sort of the front control booth as possible. Within this area as well, you can also get alerted on other bits that you need to do. So we still need to connect an entrance. And if you click that, it will just quickly snap you to the area you need to be. Let's just put a quick path in there. And then this is also where you'll be able to open your ride, close your ride, and retest it if you wish. Within this menu, you also have the overall stats of the roller coaster, its prestige level, when it was opened, how long the queue takes, how many customers on average go on it, the profits it's making, how many guests have rid the roller coaster throughout its lifetime, and the queue scenery. To get your queue scenery up and to get your prestige up, you want to be using scenery pieces or using elements from the curate menu, such as trees. As you can see, this has then put our queue scenery rating up. The tree's not a great example, but you get the idea. You put any sort of wall, any animatronics, if you tie triggers to your roller coaster, these will all bring up your prestige. In this menu, this is all about how much your roller coaster is costing per month, your ticket prices, and this is where you can adjust the price of your roller coaster. This menu is your testing. We've covered that previously, but these are the 3 ratings that you want to keep an eye on the most. Trying to keep those green is your best sort of steer, and you can start and stop your tests in here as well. If you wish to show the coaster's name, you can do it here, or you can adjust the color of your coaster super quickly like this. You can also adjust the car, the music, and create trigger sequences and move the entrance and exit if you have already placed them and your ride is sort of finished. Within this one, this menu allows you to change the number of carts. So I could have less carts on my train, then giving me the ability to have more trains. I could change the type of operation, and you can also go into advanced settings, and in here you can change all the wait times and loads and different bits like that. You can also enable priority pass in here. When you enable priority pass, it'll allow you to create priority pass entrance and exit. Our queue is too small, but you'll basically place that in 2 points and you'll be able to join that up. The maintenance tab, this is where you can ask your mechanic to go and check on it. If you've had your ride for a number of years now and it's getting a lot of issues, wear and tear is quite low, you can request a refurbishment. You can change how long and how far between your ride gets inspected. So if it's one of your most popular rides, maybe you want to get it checked every so often so there's less chance of it breaking. And you'll also get stats on the last time it broke, the last time it was refurbished, when the next inspection is due, and sort of a reliability score. And the final menu, ride management, this is where you can jump in to edit your coaster, you can save it, and a few other bits too. Now, once your roller coaster is placed, you do have the ability to use move, and advanced move. So I could put this anywhere in my park. And you also have the ability to ride on your coaster. So if we just slow down the time and I put this on test, we can then go on the camera and we'll be able to go on a ride on our new roller coaster. So you'll get a flavor for what the customer experiences when they are on the roller coaster themselves. That was quite a sharp twist, but the rest of the curls were quite nice. And then that comes back. It's not the longest of tracks, it is purely to demonstrate. But this function where you can ride on works on any coaster. So we could ride on this one here and this other example coaster here. And that sort of covers all of the basics of making your roller coaster, editing the track, smoothing the track out, and a few ways that you can check different stats on your roller coasters as you're creating them to try and make them more guest friendly and to hit them targets that your challenge is potentially asking you to hit. I hope this video has helped you, and I'll catch you in the next one.